She never takes a day off, not even on Sundays. Her workstation sits inside the Oval Office itself, and she holds a permanent seat aboard Marine One. She exchanges text messages with foreign leaders on Donald Trump's behalf, staying up well past midnight to help craft his social media posts. She rarely speaks on camera, yet she is everywhere, always present, smiling, her eyes locked on the president. Her name is Natalie Harp, and at just 35, she has become Donald Trump's ultimate information gatekeeper. A fiercely devoted staffer, some inside the West Wing call her Trump's ultimate confidant, others, his emotional anchor.
We're learning more about the White House aide who's garnered a lot of interest since details of her relationship with the president.
How did Natalie Harp suddenly seize the headlines across American media? It all started with an astonishing revelation. Following threats of an Iranian strike, she was among the handful of individuals concealed inside an aircraft catering container alongside Trump, switching planes in secret to escape Turkey. That disclosure prompted Democratic Senator Jon Ossoff to launch a blistering broadside at the president. He doesn't want to be president at all. He just wants to build ballrooms and fly around the world with Natalie in his flying palace, a gift from the Emir of Qatar. The remark triggered an uproar across the MAGA sphere. Cabinet members, right-wing media figures, and congressional allies swiftly fell into rank to defend Harp's character and standing.
Did he ask you specifically to scale back on those?
Quiet.
When a CNN reporter pressed Trump on the remarks, he brushed it off. But moments later, the White House hit back with a scathing tweet, unusually aggressive and even bringing up the reporter's children. The backlash thrust Natalie into the spotlight, a quiet, slender figure whose constant presence has long fascinated and frustrated the president's inner circle. The extraordinary authority Trump has granted her offers a revealing window into his presidency. With Harp by his side, Trump operates on an unfiltered, unvetted stream of raw information, material several of his own senior advisors consider profoundly toxic. She feeds him content scavenged from the murky fringes of social media, such as a video Trump reposted that depicted the Obama family as apes. She delivers a narrative from outside official Washington, an establishment Trump has perpetually distrusted. Inside the White House, staffers gave her a nickname, the human printer. She literally follows Trump with a portable printer, handing him physical copies of viral tweets, memes, and trending clips. Deeply distrustful of mainstream media, Trump loves how Natalie feeds him this raw, unfiltered slice of the internet. Beyond the news cycle, Natalie functions as an inexhaustible reservoir of affirmation for Trump. As renowned journalists Maggie Haberman and Jonathan Swan document in their book Regime Change, Trump once characterized her devotion candidly. "Everyone on my staff is just trying to make money, but Natalie is the only one who truly loves me, just as much as my wife and kids love me. She will never leave me." Her level of devotion has left colleagues bewildered and uneasy. In footage leaked to the press, Natalie can be seen in Scotland, sprinting breathless for miles across the grass just to keep up with Trump's moving golf cart. In a private note addressed to him, she offered this striking apology. "I'm sorry if my running on the golf course was an embarrassment. I just always want everything to be right between us. I've been so consumed with work this week that I forgot to eat and sleep. With all my heart, Natalie." Where does such unbounded devotion originate, and how did she enter Trump's orbit? Raised in a conservative Christian household in California, Natalie Harp traveled an unconventional route to a White House that was already defined by its departure from tradition. Her ascent began with a single dramatic assertion, that Donald Trump had saved her life. During his first term, Trump signed into law the Right to Try Act, granting terminally ill patients broader access to experimental treatments. Harp utilized this very legislation to battle a rare bone cancer and survived. She framed her recovery as a Trump-induced miracle. In 2019, she shared her story live on Fox News.
And I was watching and I heard the story of an incredible, unbelievable young woman.
Trump caught the broadcast, phoned her directly, and invited her to speak at the Republican National Convention. It marked the entry of a young woman who viewed Trump as her personal savior.
I wouldn't be alive today if it wasn't for you.
Following her appearance, Trump remarked, "She was so luminous on television. I've rarely seen anyone make that kind of impact."
It's like, if President Trump, who's the most popular...
Following Donald Trump's electoral defeat, Harp secured an anchor desk at the conservative network One American News. There, she established herself as an uncompromising surrogate, aggressively amplifying unverified claims regarding the 2020 election outcome. That tenure pivoted her trajectory permanently. By 2022, she formally joined Trump's new political operation, no longer as a guest speaker or convention surrogate, but as a core campaign operative. Few could have foreseen that this California native, within just 3 years, would emerge as one of the most influential figures in the White House and the closest confidant to the president. Her official title, Special and Executive Assistant to the President, is deceptive. It traditionally denotes a standard administrative role, akin to the responsibilities held by Madeleine Westerhout during Trump's first term. Yet, by all accounts, Harp has redefined the post, operating with an authority far eclipsing that of her predecessors. Her taxpayer-funded salary sits at $150,000 annually, an extraordinary sum for an administrative aide. More striking than her title or compensation, however, is her physical proximity to power. White House correspondents regularly spot her standing mere paces from Trump inside the Oval Office, or boarding Air Force One on domestic and international trips. A source close to the administration offered a concise summary to the BBC. "She is always there. Truly, always." That perpetual presence, coupled with her control over the flow of material, raises a critical question. How much influence does Natalie Harp actually wield? According to an insider familiar with the West Wing's inner workings, acting as the human printer affords her immense leverage over what reaches Trump's desk. Some view her as a decisive gatekeeper. Others see her as his primary source of emotional comfort. Yet this devotion has come with friction. In his latest book, journalist Michael Wolff reported something even more alarming. The Secret Service grew so concerned by her behavior that they briefly considered her a security risk, not just to Trump, but to herself. Wolff notes that in private gatherings, Trump playfully refers to Natalie and a tight group of female aides as his Charlie's Angels, a circle whose dynamic with the president is characterized as simultaneously paternal and flirtatious. The relationship has not escaped scrutiny. Leaked correspondence reveals an intimate, at times unsettling tone. In one letter addressed to Trump, she wrote, "You are the only person who matters to me." According to the New York Times, Natalie fills an archetype Trump has relied upon since his days in Manhattan real estate. Back then, a cadre of executive secretaries sat outside his 26th floor office at Trump Tower, poised to execute orders at a moment's notice. A group he routinely referred to as the girls. Preston Harp, Natalie's estranged brother, painted a revealing picture during an interview with CNN. He recounted that since adolescence, his sister harbored a distinct fixation on American presidents, even writing fan letters to George W. Bush. In his telling, securing a role in the White House was the realization of a lifelong ambition. Yet, amid the wave of scrutiny and investigative books, one constant remains. Harp has never directly addressed the claims, leaving repeated media interview requests unanswered. The White House has limited its response to a single, measured sentence, calling her a loyal and valued member of the team, offering no further detail. The definitive portrait of Natalie Harp remains elusive, yet one reality is indisputable. Inside a White House where personal loyalty is the primary currency, Harp has demonstrated a devotion that surpasses even the most partisan loyalists, elevating her into one of the most powerful and enigmatic background figures in American politics. But does this bond transcend a standard professional relationship? That question now dominates American political commentary, serving as the catalyst for the controversy sparked by Senator Ossoff's remarks. Opposing lawmakers sarcastically charge that Trump has abandoned presidential duties to tour the globe with Natalie inside his flying palace. Meanwhile, Harp's private letters, laced with phrases like, "with all my heart," and "I just want everything to be right between us," read more like romantic missives than standard government correspondence. Even so, no credible news outlet has uncovered evidence of a sexual or romantic liaison. A Newsweek analysis addressing the speculation noted that, given Trump's age, approaching 80, the prospect of an active romantic affair appears improbable. What, then, is the reality behind these closed doors? Analysts and veteran biographers suggest the dynamic is far more intricate than an ordinary romance. Natalie Harp does not view Trump as a romantic partner. She sees him as a divine savior who pulled her back from terminal bone cancer with a stroke of a pen. In her eyes, Trump is an idol, a living deliverer. Trump, perpetually hungry for absolute fidelity and unyielding praise, finds in Natalie a 24-hour mirror reflecting only his strength and greatness. Trump himself conceded, "Nobody in this world, except maybe my wife and kids, loves me as much as Natalie." It is an alliance whose boundaries appear murky from the outside. Yet for Trump, she is a safe harbor, an emotional sanctuary in the cutthroat world of American politics. But that leaves a fascinating question. How did a 35-year-old with virtually no high-level experience rise to become one of the most powerful gatekeepers in Washington? What do you make of Natalie Harp's role? Let us know in the comments below. If you found this breakdown insightful, don't forget to like and share. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.